Hello, Daniel Yuck here. Thank you for clicking on my video today. I appreciate you. In today's video, I want to dive into an in-depth review on the MHT P8008 tattoo printer by a company called Dragoart. I will leave links for you in the description below so you can check out this printer on your end. Should you have any questions, I'm going to highly encourage you to drop a comment down below. I will do my absolute best to assist you in the best possible direction. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring that bell for me, as I am going to be bringing more videos like this for you all. I do also have social medias under the same name as my YouTube channel. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I would truly appreciate the support over there as well. If you enjoy my content and find my channel helpful, consider becoming a Patreon or sending over a super thanks, as I would greatly appreciate your support. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive straight on into this. Let's take a look and let's see what comes with inside the tattoo printer box. So removing the top here, we are greeted with what looks to be a user manual. On the left, we have a USB cable is what that looks like to me, and we have the printer unit as well. This is a user manual right here. Feel free to pause the screen so that way you can thoroughly read this on your end. We are going to be going through connection. We are going to be testing out different prints. By the end of this video, you will know what to expect from the MHT P8008. Here is the other side of the user manual. Let's move on to the other contents in the box here. Right here is the charging cable. This is going to be a USB-C type cable. One thing that I want to point out is that this printer is wireless. We don't need to have it plugged into a power source when we want to print. It is completely wireless. We could simply charge it up and then take it with us and then print wirelessly. Let's take a close-up look at the printer itself. So this is the unit. The interface is actually pretty simple and straightforward. On the left, we have a couple of buttons. We have a power button and a feed button, and then we have some symbols to let us know what is going on with the printer. The entire design itself is pretty simplistic and straightforward, which would make for an easy wipe down when we need to. This is a release button. That's the button that we press to release the open hatch here. I'm going to show you that here shortly. On the left, we have the charging port. I feel like having a unit that we can simply charge, and then when we need to print a tattoo stencil, just simply turn it on with no connections needed or anything like that is ideal. That's actually a nice, smooth, clean workflow as long as we keep the printer charged. At first impressions, it is a more of a rugged, simplistic type of design. I want to get into more of the connection aspect, and I want to get into how the printer operates. According to the user manual, in order to turn the unit on, we're going to want to press down the power button. It does say long press, so we're going to want to long press the power button in order to turn the unit on. To feed paper into the printer, there's a button right here located on the right. We're going to want to slide this down, and you can see the top of the printer opens like so. You can feel the click when it opens, and you can feel the click when it closes, and that's how we open up the top part of this printer, and that's what we're going to use to actually load the printer as well. And again, the interface is very simplistic. All it consists of is a power button and a paper output button. The lights over next to the buttons are the power light, you have the error light, you have the charging light, and you also have the Bluetooth light. And on the right of the unit, we have the open button, and on the left, we have the charging port. Connecting is a very straightforward process. We're going to want to download the app, whether we're using iOS or Android. We can download it in either or. Once we download the app, we then have the ability to connect to the unit. According to the user manual, this printer is great for line patterns. It's good for shadow shading type of patterns. It's okay for gradual patterns, and for colorful patterns, it's not good. It's not recommended. This is also the name of the app that you're going to want to download. It's called Tattoo Printer. So you just want to type in Tattoo Printer into the iOS App Store or Android App Store, and it should pull on up. Please keep in mind that thermal printers always shine best when it comes to line dominant designs. I'm sure that there is thermal printers out there that can print shading. However, from my experience, thermal printers really shine when it's a line dominant design. Another thing that I want to point out is that we can print from our computer straight to this printer as well. However, according to these instructions, it's not recommended. You can kind of read this for yourself here. For me personally, I print from an iPad. I draw everything up in Procreate, so I'm going to be printing from my iPad, sending that information directly to the printer wirelessly. Connecting wirelessly is pretty straightforward. You open up your Bluetooth settings with whatever device you're using, and then you locate the printer, the P8008, you connect, and then you pretty much go into the app and print. From here, I'm going to want to select the image that I want to print. Once I've selected the image, I'm going to select OK, and then it's going to bring me up to this page where I can edit, I can crop, I can kind of, mess around and manipulate the image a little bit more, or the design a little bit more. From here, I'm going to want to select this button up here, And you can see we do have multiple options that do come up. I'll go ahead and make another in-depth video on these options. For me, I'm just going to go ahead and select print. From here, I'm sending over the design data from my iPad to the MHT P8008 for printing. I know that is a mouthful to say, so for the remainder of this video, we'll just refer to this tattoo printer as the 8008. So you can see right now off the bat I'm getting really good, clean, consistent results. And again, this is using the 8008. I'm using an iPad and I'm sending over my design wirelessly. No wires involved. There's nothing powering on my printer here or anything like that. This is just a wireless printer printing this stencil for me. Now that my design is done printing, I could remove it from the printer itself. There's two ways to go about doing that. I could press the button to feed the paper out the rest of the way, or I could just simply press the button on the right to open up the top of the printer. I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to open up the top of the printer and take out the paper like so. Let's take a look at the stencil here. So you can see that it did transfer over nicely. It did capture all of the different line weights. Everything is nice, clean, and I can read it. You can see though that the stencil is really light. Now, most of us may think, or a lot of us would be using this printer and probably think that it's the printer itself, when in fact it's not. It's actually the tattoo paper that we are using. So that's what I wanted to also take some time and talk about in this video here. The results that we are going to be getting are determined by the quality of paper that we are using. Let's say we're using a lower quality stencil paper or a stencil paper that's not designed for thermal printers, then the results that we are going to be getting when using that sort of paper with a thermal printer may be spotty, may be very inconsistent, and may be undesirable. I would highly recommend to use a paper that's designed for thermal printing. One that I personally use and always have used from the jump and I've never had any issues with is Spirit stencil paper, the thermal classic version. I will leave links for you in the description below so you can check out where I get it from, but that's the paper that I've been using from the jump. I have used several different stencil papers and the best results that I've ever gotten was from Spirit stencil paper. The paper that I'm demonstrating with right now is not Spirit stencil paper. I will use that here in a bit and show you the different results. Right now I'm trying a different type of design. This design has a lot more detail. It has a lot of different textures. It does have different gradients and a lot of different shadings going on. So I wanted to see the type of results that we can get from this thermal printer because it did say earlier that we are able to shade. I just wanted to see to what extent. Taking a close-up look at this design right here, you can see that the paper and the printer are not working together. This design is essentially transferred. However, the detail and the saturation that I wanted to achieve is not there. There is shading. However, this style of shading that I'm trying to print is not applicable to this specific printer. I'm trying to go for more of a realistic type shading. As you can see, the thermal printer did go ahead and give me some shading, just not in the realistic manner that I needed. I need saturation from my stencil. I need clarity from my stencils. I need to be able to place the stencil on the skin and be able to read everything easily. For this print right here, I'm using Spirit stencil paper, and you can see already that I am getting a much more saturated stencil right here. When I reveal the stencil and show you the backing, you're also going to notice that a lot of the details transferred over. Everything is nice, saturated. If I place it down on fake or human skin, I can see everything, I could read everything. Everything has clarity. And this reveal proves that the stencil paper that we are using to print on thermal printers does in fact go a very long way. You can see this design printed with saturation and again that clarity, that definition that I was talking about a little while ago. Keep in mind that these tattoo stencils are all being printed with the same printer. However, I am getting different results based on the paper that I am using and also the design that I am trying to print. If I'm going to be trying to print more intricate designs that have a sort of like realism shading type design going on, then I think the thermal printer is going to fall a bit short. However, let's say I'm doing a floral type of design with like a few shades here and there. I think that this printer will capture that well. You can see that I'm just testing out this little assortment of candles. They all are different sizes from small to a little bit bigger, and again I'm using a Spirit stencil paper to print these stencils. You can see off the bat though that we are already getting saturation based on the front of the stencil. I will reveal that to confirm for you. You can see from the stencil reveal that using the Spirit stencil thermal paper with the 8008 tattoo printer does give me some pretty good, clean, saturated results. I want to try to print a more intricate design right here. You can see that I'm printing a design that came from a photo. I just converted it into a more printable tattoo design, and I'm using the 8008 tattoo printer with Spirit stencil paper to see what type of results I get from this design. After revealing this design right here, as you can see that I'm left with a completely workable 110% tattooable stencil. Now, I'm not too let down at the idea of not being able to print shading, as a lot of my tattoos are line dominant, and with the reference I could always implement shading. But one thing that I really look at when I'm using a thermal printer is the ability to print smaller designs. So as you can see right here, I do have an assortment of different size designs, from like little mini designs all the way up to pretty decent size, maybe like 3x3 designs right here. Here are the results for the smaller designs. I actually did full close-up tattoo videos on these little angels right here. They are available on my YouTube channel if you want to check those out. But you can see that the P8008 did print these smaller designs pretty nice. These are completely workable for me. Allow me to conclude the video and relay some of my final opinions and some insight on how I feel about the 8008 tattoo printer. Out of 5 stars, I'm going to give the MHT P8008 tattoo printer 4 stars, and I'm going to go ahead and explain why. The main thing that I love about this specific printer right here is that it is completely wireless. We just have to keep it charged in order for us to keep printing stencils with the 8008 tattoo printer. I'm typically used to having a power source plugged into my printer in order for me to print any designs. So having a fully wireless printer is awesome. So that right there automatically gave it a 4 stars easily. However, the only reason why I didn't really give it a full 5 stars, and it's not to say that it's a bad printer, because it's not by any means. It's actually a really good printer. The only reason why I didn't give it 5 stars is because of the inconsistencies that I experienced using different stencil papers. The tattoo printer did in fact transfer both designs. However, the Spirit stencil paper tends to be more saturated, dark, easier to read, the way that I would prefer for my tattoo stencils to be. I feel like that is more on the tattoo stencil paper end more than it is on the tattoo printer end, but that is pretty much the only downside that I would say that I have about the 8008 tattoo printer. I will leave links for you in the description below so you can check it out on your end. If you have any questions at all, I encourage you to drop a comment down below, and I'll do my absolute best to assist you in the best possible direction. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring that bell for me, as I am going to be bringing more videos like this for you all. I do have social medias under the same name as this YouTube channel. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I would truly appreciate the support over there as well. If you enjoy my channel and find my content helpful, consider becoming a Patreon or sending over a super thanks, as I would greatly appreciate your support. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. You have a great day.